where rivers run dry, where swirls the dust of shifting sands. There lies that ancient, arid region which stretches northwards from the mighty Orange River and into Angola, the Kalahari. To the uninitiated, it is just a desert wasteland, but to those who get the sand of the Kalahari into their shoes, so folklore declares, they will always return. And no wonder, for they will discover an immensely rich and stunningly diverse biosphere that is as colourful as the many hues in the sand dunes which characterises large portions of her landscape. It is here, in this hauntingly beautiful land of nomadic antelope herds and large predators, that a sanctuary has been established for the protection of the oryx, the gem of the Kalahari. Bounded by two dry riverbeds, that of the Aube, meaning bitter, and the Nossob, meaning treacherous, this is the place called the Kalahari Gemsbok National Park. This is a land of thirst and drought. There is no permanent natural surface water, and yet many species of animal thrives here. They depend largely on the fluids contained in their food, and they exploit every other possible source of moisture. Two ground creepers, the Sama melon and the wild cucumber, known to the local bushmen as the love plant for its reputed aphrodisiac qualities, or Gemsbok cucumber as it's also known, provide a vital source of water. They are eaten by a wide range of animals, including the larger antelope species. Contrary to expectation, the area is largely semi-arid savanna grassland, punctuated with a scattering of low trees and bushes. The camelthorn being a favourite place for the vast communal nests of the social weaver. Some of these nests, which are continually being added to, can reach as much as 1,000 kilograms in weight. The grasslands flourish whenever the rains come, but because they are usually very dry, they are susceptible to fires caused mainly by lightning storms. Many of the older camelthorn trees bear the marks of veld fires that have ravaged them in the past. Fortunately, the younger trees survive the fires. Camelthorn trees dominate the dry riverbeds, and their leaves and seed pods are a good food source for the gemsbok and a variety of other game. Much of the game species rest during the heat of the day, and so reduce moisture loss to a minimum. But there is a price to pay for this, because the sand tampan makes good use of the opportunity to acquire a feast of blood from these resting herds. Survival of game depends largely on a variety of physiological and behavioral adaptations that enables the animals to manage on the limited available moisture supplies. One such adaptation found in some desert animals is their ability to excrete low volume of very concentrated urine. In a drought, an ostrich can lose upwards of 25% of its body weight through dehydration. Visitors to the park are well catered for in any one of the 3 rest camps which have been provided by the National Parks Board, each with self-catering cottages and campsites. In addition to being the administrative centre and headquarters to the park, Tweerivieren is the largest camp by far and the only camp with air-conditioned accommodation available. Mata Mata was once also the border post between South Africa and Namibia, but now, since Namibia gained its independence, it no longer serves as a border post. Therefore, it can only be approached via Tweerivieren, which is all of 120 kilometers away. The Nosop rest camp is 160 kilometers north of Tweerivieren. Accommodation here is limited by the availability of water. The Kalahari Gemsbok Park extends far into Botswana, and unless the nomadic herds can move freely between the two parks, their survival is threatened. The two parks form a self-regulating ecosystem, with the periodic rainfalls being the main driving force. For this reason, no fences have been built between the two, which allows the game to move freely from one to the other. The international boundary is thus marked by unobtrusive beacons along the length of the Nosop River. The park lacks any permanent surface water, but the authorities maintain a network of boreholes, most of which line the riverbeds. These artificial waterholes make good sites for game viewing, and visitors who sit patiently at one of them are usually well rewarded. The Parks Board maintains a philosophy whereby the natural ecosystem is to be left as unsullied as possible, but the high mortality rate of the game during prolonged periods of drought is unacceptable, and so the waterholes have proved to be a good compromise. The sparse supplies of water in the Kalahari and the Gemsbok National Park results in this being a very fragile ecosystem. Life is finely balanced for its inhabitants. If it is not managed in a responsible way, a very precious part of our heritage will be lost to posterity. Where swirls the dust of shifting sands, the hourglass does not run dry. Timelessness is experienced. Changeless, yet ever-changing, the Kalahari is a gift from Africa to her children.